When you hear about America being a savagely racist country and black people being treated with savage racism at every turn, does it match your experience? Now, you may not be black, and statistically speaking, given the podcast family makeup, you're probably not black. But does it match your observations for things you observe? Let's put it this way. Let's take it a different direction. Have you ever gone into a culture that you are completely new to, that you are the outsider with a preconceived notion? Did that notion come true? I know when I was a white guy living in a black neighborhood, one of two white people in like a 12-block region, I had a preconceived notion. My preconceived notion was I was going to be the outsider. Well, to some degree I was. I didn't expect to be treated as a racist or treated in a racist manner. I didn't expect many of the things I saw. I didn't expect to see people killed in drive-by shootings. I didn't expect to be, have someone attempt to rob me at knife point. You could say I was naive. I was living in the deep ghetto. But I did expect to be treated as the outsider. You know what I didn't expect? To be invited to church, but I was. You know what I didn't expect? To be invited to an after-church barbecue at a woman's house who lived right behind my apartment building, but I was. I remember in my third-story little studio apartment, which was in fact smaller than this studio. If you're watching right now, it's smaller than the video studio I'm in. Smaller than the bedroom you have at home. The whole studio apartment. And I could kind of crane my neck because I lived in the air vent, the little U-shaped air vent thing. I could kind of crane my neck and look out and see the barbecue I was supposed to go to. I said I'd go to. I met the lady at church. I said I would go. And I'm looking out, and there is not a white person in that yard, and they're all dressed up. It was an after-church barbecue. Now, I didn't have many dress-up clothes. I was wearing the dress-up clothes I had and thinking and struggling, am I honestly going to walk over to this? And I'm bringing little stupid little foods I had. And I did. It did not match any expectation I had to be welcomed that way. And yeah, people laughed about the white guy being there, and they laughed about the white guy coming and bringing white guy food, and it was funny and it was charming. I'm sure there are people on the back end of that saying, what is that white man doing here? I'm sure of that because it's a sin nature. Racism is sin nature, period. It's not a special sin nature. It's a sin nature. It's hating thy neighbor for no reason at all. It's a stupid habit. It's a sinful habit. This black man, 37 years old, has learned something very, very important about how he has been programmed.
We've really been tricked to believe that if somebody a different color from you and they don't agree with what you think, they automatically racist. I'm looking at my feeds every day. 90% of them are white people telling me they agree with me, they ride with me, they calling me their brother. And this on every single post. Do you know who going against me? Just because I think differently than him. My own people. The ones that's my color. I got people jumping in the comments out the blue, don't want to argue what I'm talking about, just want to call me a you going against your people, and I hope the police kill you, and all that other shit. Like, whoa. Get real, bro. You know, it took me till I was 30-something years old to actually just look around at my life and be like, you know, a white person never called me. I live in Louisiana. It has never happened. I mean, ever. And if it did, it was the white boy that grew up in the neighborhood that was around us all the time, and he got tired of me picking on him or something. I probably didn't even hear it. I'm just being honest with you. I lived in Louisiana my entire life. I have never been called by a white person. I have never been disrespected by a white person. As a matter of fact, I'll give you one better. Southern have a homecoming, we running from bullets every single year. LSU have a homecoming, they ask me, hey, Paul, you with LSU? Come on over here. I got something for you to drink, man. Come get you a plate, man. Every time I ever went. Every single time I ever went, it's been like that. When I go to the Southern homecoming game, HBCU, I'm running from bullets.
It's a brave thing to say. He's calling out one of the most frustrating dynamics in America, the black on black crime, as he's discussing, which is a propaganda of silence item for the Mockingbird media. So are the fact that there are plenty of young black people who figured out the pandering of the Democrat Party and they hate it. And they're calling it out in some beautifully entertaining ways. You got to see this young woman as she calls out Kamala Harris for her code shifting. I'll show that to you in a second. Your body has code in it that's readable, writable, it's repeatable, it's understandable, and it is useful for positive body hacking. If you've been through any form of restrictive weight loss lately, that is doing any form of calorie restriction or concentrating on your macros, making sure you're getting a 40-30-30 mix of protein, carbohydrates, and fat, or maybe it's a 50-25-25, there's a way to maintain the fat loss you've had and the muscle gain. And it's a positive body hack from one of our most valued partners, the people at Bioptimizers. Matt and Wade won't release anything until they can put the breakthrough label on it. It took them 243 experiments with mass zymes to be happy enough with it, and they still had to do one final test. They wanted to make sure that this is a product that's going to take the food you eat and give you more value from it, particularly in relation to aminos and branch chain aminos. They did a test at the Birch International University in Bosnia, side by side, people who did not take mass zymes versus people who did. What they observed was a 1,200% increase in amino acids in the people who took mass zymes versus those who didn't. That means more capacity to build and sustain muscle. That means supporting fat loss. It means getting digestive comfort. I've been taking this product for a couple of years. It's something I take on a daily basis about 3 times a day. I suggest you jump onto this and maximize your health. Go now to bioptimizers.com/Todd to get your bottle of mass zymes with 10% off. Don't let poor digestion hold you back from reaching your full potential, be it athletic, neurological, or other. It's bioptimizers.com/Todd. Get 10% off and start your journey to better health now. That's bioptimizers.com/Todd. So this guy makes a brave statement. He's talking about observing his world. What is my actual experience versus what I'm being told I experience? What he's experiencing is being embraced by white people. What he's experiencing is a brokenness in the black community, which is a different form of sin problem. Like all these things, racism is a sin problem. Gang shootings stem from a racism problem, which is sin. Right? Racism, black on black racism exists. So he makes this discovery, and the media is going to be silent on this. They're also silent on a trend of young people figuring out the scam that is Kamala Harris.
You better thank a union member for your sick time. You better thank a union member for your paydays off. Because on my days off, I'm about to cook me a mean pot of greens. And I'm going to wash them in the bathtub where all that and said. Because that's what us black folk do.
It's so solid. Didn't I just say to keep young people off social media? She's an adult. Maybe we could have a highlight reel that we show our kids. We'll show you social media. Maybe we can curate social media for our kids. It's good to see black people waking up to this. It's also good for us to check our own world. Case in point, I'm a Christian. Are you? What if someone was to observe you from the outside? Would they say, yeah, they're a Christian? Well, sure, they'd see me go to church on Sunday. Okay, so you attend church. Yeah. Well, are you the church? What do you mean? Are you, in fact, the church? Are you actively seeking and caring for the least of these? If people observed you from an outward stance, would they say, yeah, I can tell that person's a Christian. They treat people with love and kindness. Is that what they'd say? See, we need to observe our own behaviors to make sure we haven't bought into propaganda, because Satan loves to tell people who simply attend church 1.3 times a month, hey, you check the box. Hey, you believe in God. Hey, you even pray sometimes. Don't give in to the propaganda. Use the Bible as your guide for what it means to be the church, which is part of being Christian.